Imagine a tiny, silver quarter sitting in your pocket, unnoticed, completely ordinary, until one small detail turns it into a treasure worth millions. One man's casual collection became a story that stunned the entire coin-collecting world. It all began back in 2016, when the U.S. Mint released the Theodore Roosevelt quarter. At first glance, it looked like every other quarter in circulation. The design, the familiar Roosevelt profile, the historic Fort Moultrie reverse. It seemed like just another coin for your change jar. But there was something extraordinary hidden in plain sight. Something that would make collectors stop dead in their tracks. A minting anomaly so subtle, so easy to miss, that most people never noticed it. Only a few sharp-eyed collectors ever caught it. And when they did, dealers started paying prices that were once unimaginable for a simple quarter. Suddenly, what seemed like ordinary pocket change became a potential million-dollar miracle. One collector, a retired teacher from Ohio, had no idea what he was holding. He found the coin at a local garage sale, mixed in with a handful of loose quarters. It wasn't shiny, it wasn't pristine, it was just there, waiting. When he casually dropped it into a coin album alongside his other Roosevelt quarters, he thought nothing of it. But the very next day, a friend who knew coins better than anyone else leaned over and gasped. "You have no idea what this is," he said. Collectors were shocked. Dealers were rushing to get their hands on similar coins. The coin had a subtle double-strike error, something that most casual collectors wouldn't even recognize under normal light. This tiny detail, the doubling of Roosevelt's cheek and the faint echo of the lettering, was what made it incredibly rare. And rarity in the coin world equals value, sometimes to the tune of $1 million. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. An auction house in New York listed the coin without much fanfare, expecting a few $1,000s at most. Within minutes, the bidding skyrocketed. By the end of the auction, the coin had sold for nearly $1 million. One simple quarter, almost thrown away, now worth more than most people earn in a lifetime. Imagine holding a coin that could change your life forever. It's not just about the money. It's the thrill of discovery, the rush of knowing you're holding a piece of history that few others in the world can claim. One tiny minting error, invisible to the untrained eye, can turn ordinary pocket change into an extraordinary fortune. Collectors started hunting these coins everywhere. Every drawer, every jar of loose change, every roll of quarters became a potential treasure trove. Some coins were perfect specimens, untouched by circulation. Others bore the marks of time, but still carried that elusive minting anomaly. Every detail mattered. Every tiny flaw, or perfection, could mean the difference between a few dollars and $1 million miracle, and the stories didn't stop there. Another collector, a young man from Texas, discovered a 2016 P. Roosevelt quarter at a grocery store, thinking it was just another coin. That one coin, examined closely, revealed a slight off-center strike. He didn't realize the significance at first, but when he showed it to an expert, the news was electrifying. This coin could fetch hundreds of thousands, the expert said, or more, depending on the buyer. Within weeks, the coin had doubled in value at auction. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. The key is in the mint mark, the subtle doubling, and the alignment of the coin's design. These are the things collectors obsess over. A coin with a faint double strike or an unusual alignment may seem insignificant, but in the right hands, it's priceless. Dealers warn collectors about counterfeit or altered coins, but the 2016 P. Roosevelt quarter is remarkably resilient. The more authentic and well-preserved the coin, the higher its potential value. Some coins, even with slight wear, still reach astonishing prices because the minting anomaly is so rare and significant. And here's the most incredible part. Anyone could find one. Your wallet, your change jar, even a forgotten drawer in the kitchen. That coin, just sitting there, could be the one that turns an ordinary day into a life-changing moment. You don't need a special collection, a rare roll, or insider connections. You just need the eye to see it, the patience to examine it, and a little luck. Collectors describe the experience as magical. The thrill of spotting that doubling, the heart-pounding moment when you realize the coin is genuine, the anticipation as you bring it to a dealer or auction. Every step is a rush, and the reward? A potential fortune, a story to tell for the rest of your life. and the knowledge that you hold something almost no one else in the world has. So how do you identify this coin? First, check the mint mark. The P, for Philadelphia, must be clear and properly aligned. Look closely at Roosevelt's cheek, the lettering along the edges, and the eagle on the reverse. Any doubling or slight misalignment could indicate the anomaly. Compare it to verified examples online or in coin guides. And remember, condition is crucial, but even a coin with minor wear can still be worth enormous money if the minting error is present. Avoid coins with obvious damage, cleaning, or polishing, as that can significantly reduce their value. Collectors have learned to examine each coin under bright light, sometimes even using magnification. They study the curves of the portrait, the angles of the lettering, and the spacing of the design. They obsess over tiny details that most people would never notice. And that obsession pays off. Because when you find one, the value isn't just in the coin. It's in the story, the rarity, the miracle of discovery. One coin turned a retired teacher into a millionaire overnight. Another coin gave a young man the chance to finally pay off his debts and live a life he never imagined. These stories remind us that treasure isn't always buried or locked in a vault. Sometimes it's in plain sight, sitting quietly in your pocket or in the change on your counter. This is not just a coin. It's a testament to history, to human curiosity, and to the thrill of discovery. It's proof that one tiny detail, a doubling, a mint mark, a subtle misalignment, can change everything. That ordinary pocket change could be hiding extraordinary value is a truth that excites and inspires collectors everywhere. And now it's your turn. Take a close look at the quarters in your possession. Examine the mint mark, study the design, and look for that subtle anomaly. You may be holding more than just a coin. You could be holding $1 million miracle. Imagine holding a tiny, unassuming quarter in your hand, never suspecting that it could transform your life forever. That's exactly what happened to one lucky collector who stumbled across the 2000 P Virginia quarter. What seems like ordinary pocket change turned into $1 million miracle. And the story behind it will leave you speechless. It all started at the U.S. Mint in 2000, when coins were being rushed out for circulation as part of the 50-state quarters program. Thousands of quarters rolled off the presses every day, meant to pass unnoticed through wallets and cash registers. But a subtle, nearly invisible error crept onto a few Virginia quarters. A tiny flaw in the die created a variation that collectors now drool over. Few noticed it, even among experienced numismatists, and that is where the fortune hides. Collectors were shocked when one man noticed something unusual about a coin he found in his own change. He had been at a local grocery store, buying milk and bread, when he dropped a handful of quarters on the counter. Among them was a 2000 P Virginia quarter that didn't look quite right. A slight doubling on the letters, a shadow that shouldn't have been there. Most would have tossed it without a second glance. But he didn't. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. That slight anomaly, barely visible to the untrained eye, became the key to a fortune. Coin dealers started calling, auction houses sent offers, and suddenly, a man who had simply been saving pocket change found himself at the center of a multi-million-dollar frenzy. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Word of the 2000 P Virginia quarter with this unique minting flaw spread like wildfire. Dealers rushed to banks, collectors emptied drawers, and online auctions exploded with bidding wars. It wasn't just about rarity. It was about the story, the mystery, the idea that anyone, anywhere, could have this coin and not even know it. Every collector dreams of discovering a life-changing coin. Imagine finding one of these quarters in a pocket from 2000, tucked away under a pile of old coins. This is not just about money. It's about the thrill, the chase, the secret knowledge that you are holding something that could turn your world upside down. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle, but only because he knew what to look for. The key to identifying the 2000 P Virginia quarter is subtle. Examine the obverse letters closely. The Liberty and In God We Trust inscriptions may show signs of doubling. The mint mark, P, is perfectly round on normal coins, but on the rare variant, it may appear slightly elevated or shadowed. Most people never even think to check these tiny details, but they are worth millions. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on this coin. Imagine the tension in an auction house as bids climb higher and higher. Each bidder knows the stakes. Each coin could be the next jackpot. And yet most quarters circulating today are completely ordinary. That's why knowledge is power. Because spotting this coin before anyone else could mean walking away with over $1 million. Collectors were shocked when a batch of these coins appeared online, offered by someone who had no idea what they possessed. The photos were grainy, the description vague, and yet the coin's distinctive marks were unmistakable. Savvy collectors pounced. The result? Record-breaking sales that no one could have predicted. Most of these coins are hiding in plain sight. Banks, drawers, coin jars, you name it. The next person to find one might be sitting next to you, or maybe it's already in your own wallet. That thought alone makes the heart race. Even professional numismatists were taken aback. Some thought it was impossible for a coin from 2000 to reach such astronomical value. Yet the auctions didn't lie. The demand was real, the rarity undeniable, and the story, made collectors feel like they were part of something historic. If you want to find one of these coins, here's exactly what to do. Start by checking the P mint mark on any Virginia quarters from 2000. Look for anomalies in the lettering. Compare the obverse to a normal, circulated quarter. Shadowing, doubling, or slight misalignment can be your golden ticket. Do not overlook coins in circulation. They could be your life-changing discovery. Imagine holding it in your hand. Not just any coin, but one that could be worth over $1 million. The weight of possibility, the thrill of discovery, the story behind it. It all comes alive in this tiny piece of metal. This coin could be in the unlikeliest of places. A donation jar, a couch cushion, a piggy bank long forgotten. One simple moment of attention, one careful glance, and you could realize that your ordinary quarter is, in fact, extraordinary. Collectors were amazed when the history of the coin was revealed. Some quarters had traveled from coast to coast, from pockets to cash registers, without anyone noticing their hidden value. And yet, the moment they were identified, their worth skyrocketed. The combination of rarity, timing, and human curiosity created a perfect storm for wealth. Remember, the 2000 P Virginia quarter is not just about the error, it's about the story behind it. The coin represents a chance encounter with fortune, a secret that could turn everyday change into a once-in-a-lifetime windfall. The auction houses have shown what this coin is capable of. Bidding wars reaching over $1 million, collectors flying in from around the country, and dealers scrambling to verify authenticity, all because someone noticed what no one else had. That moment of recognition is priceless. This is your chance to learn, to seek, to discover. Check every quarter you can find from 2000, examine it closely, and know that even the smallest coin can hold unimaginable value. History has shown it. Stories from collectors everywhere prove it. And yet, most people still overlook it.so when you look at your change next. Remember this. One of those quarters could be the key to $1 million miracle. One tiny detail, almost invisible, could make all the difference. Every glance, every inspection, every ounce of curiosity could lead you straight to your fortune. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. Don't overlook it. Don't assume ordinary is ordinary. Because in the world of rare coins, the extraordinary hides in plain sight, waiting for someone like you to find it. Imagine holding in your hand a small, unassuming Washington quarter from 1995, thinking it's just ordinary change, and then discovering it could transform your life. That's exactly what happened to one lucky collector who stumbled upon a coin that would shock the entire numismatic world. The story begins in a quiet suburban kitchen. John, a man who had never considered himself a collector, was sorting through decades of pocket change. He tossed a few coins into a jar, but one quarter caught his eye. Something about it was different. At first glance, it looked like any other 1995 Washington quarter, but when he held it under the light, he noticed a tiny irregularity along the edge, a subtle doubling of the mint mark. It was so faint, almost invisible, most people would have completely missed it. But John didn't, and that small observation would lead him down a path he could never have imagined. Collectors were shocked when news of this coin hit the auction circuit. Dealers from across the country scrambled to examine it. each one hoping to claim a piece of what was rapidly being called a pocket change miracle. The coin's rarity wasn't about gold or silver. It was about a subtle, almost invisible minting error that occurred in 1995 at the Philadelphia Mint, a flaw so unusual that only a handful are known to exist. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. When the coin finally went up for auction, bidding started at just a few $100s, because most people didn't recognize its true value. Within hours, bids skyrocketed. What was once thought to be mere pocket change was suddenly worth over $1 million. Dealers were whispering. Collectors were stunned. And John, the man who had tossed it into a jar, could barely believe his eyes. One man's ordinary coin had become $1 million miracle. It comes down to the mint mark, the precise way that P was stamped during production. On this particular 1995 P quarter, the minting error created a doubled impression, known in the coin world as a repunched mint mark. The doubling is subtle, almost like a shadow of the original letter slightly offset, and most collectors overlook it entirely. But spotting it is what separates an ordinary collector from someone who discovers a life-changing treasure. Imagine for a moment the disbelief in the auction room. The coin passed from hand to hand, under magnifying glasses, each expert trying to verify that it was real. And then the bidding began. The first offer came in at $50,000, quickly followed by $100,000, and within a matter of minutes, the price had surged to nearly $1 million. One single quarter, hidden in someone's drawer for decades, was about to change a life forever. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. Look closely at the P mint mark on the obverse side of the coin, just above Washington's bust. You'll see faint traces of a second impression, slightly shifted. The edges are perfectly smooth otherwise, but that doubling is the fingerprint of rarity. Combine that with the coin's pristine condition. Many of the 1995 P quarters show wear, scratches, or cleaning marks, and you have a coin that collectors will pay anything to own. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on these coins because they know the history, the scarcity, and the story. Every 1995 P quarter with this repunched mint mark is a piece of numismatic history, a tangible link to a moment that could have been lost forever. And the story isn't just about money. It's about discovery, timing, and the thrill of spotting something extraordinary hiding in plain sight. But the surprises don't end there. Later, another coin with a similar error was discovered in an old piggy bank in Texas. The family had no idea what they had. When they brought it to an expert, they were speechless. The same subtle doubling of the mint mark that made John's coin worth millions was present, almost like the mint had left a secret signature in 1995. These coins are rare, but they exist, and they're waiting for someone sharp-eyed enough to find them. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle. That's the emotional punch of this story. It's not gold, it's not platinum. It's a quarter, something you might carry every day. Yet in that small, unassuming piece of metal lies a secret capable of rewriting your financial story. Collectors must be careful, though. Many quarters have similar appearances but lack the precise doubling. Mistaking an ordinary coin for this rare error can cost you time, money, and hope. Look under proper lighting, use a magnifying lens, and compare the P mint mark to verified examples. Notice the subtle offset. Notice the perfect strike of the surrounding design. That is the signature that signals the difference between a coin worth a few cents and one worth over $1 million. And here's another twist that keeps the story alive. Some of these coins were circulated so lightly they appear almost brand new. Others were tucked away in collections for years, never realizing their true value. Dealers are combing through collections, auctions, and coin lots, hoping to unearth the next one. Every coin has a story, but few have the power to astonish and inspire like the 1995 P. Washington quarter with the repunched mint mark. Imagine discovering one in your own change jar. Imagine holding it, realizing the history, the rarity, the story. And then imagine knowing, without a doubt, that you have something that could be worth over $1 million. That's the emotional power of these coins. It's more than money. It's a connection to history, to human curiosity, and to the thrill of discovery. If you're serious about finding one, here's what you need to do. Inspect every 1995 P. Washington quarter you come across. Use bright light, a magnifying glass, and patience. Look for the doubled P mint mark just above Washington's shoulder. Compare it to verified examples online or in trusted coin reference books. Avoid cleaned coins, scratched coins, or coins with worn details. Only those in near pristine condition hold the million-dollar value. Remember, time is critical. Every coin found increases awareness, and the market is competitive. But the real secret isn't just the money. It's the story, the discovery, and the thrill of seeing something ordinary become extraordinary. Every collector dreams of that moment. Every collector imagines holding a coin that could change everything. And for those who act carefully, who look closely, that dream isn't impossible. This exact quarter could be sitting in your drawer right now. It could be hiding in your pocket change. And if you spot the subtle, repunched mint mark, you're not just holding a piece of metal. You're holding over $1 million of history, rarity, and possibility. Collectors everywhere are watching. Dealers are on high alert. And the next life-changing discovery could be yours. Don't overlook it, don't dismiss it, and don't underestimate the power of a small coin with a story big enough to astonish the world. Imagine holding a simple Washington quarter, thinking it's just pocket change, and discovering it's one of the rarest coins in American history. One man's ordinary loose change became a $1 million miracle, and the shocking story behind it is something collectors still talk about in hushed, excited tones. That it all began in the 1960s, a time of turmoil, innovation, and quiet mistakes at the U.S. Mint. The 1967 Washington quarter was meant to be ordinary. Millions produced, meant for everyday commerce. But a tiny, almost invisible detail turned a handful of these coins into treasures that collectors would fight over for decades. Hidden among the ordinary coins was a minting anomaly so rare that the coin world nearly missed it entirely. Collectors were shocked when the first one appeared in private auctions. No mint mark, no fanfare, just a quiet, silver quarter that somehow carried the weight of history. Experts realized almost immediately that this was a 1967 quarter struck in Philadelphia without the D mint mark, a mistake that shouldn't have existed. The Philadelphia Mint had produced the majority of 1967 quarters, but virtually all of them were correctly marked, or so everyone thought. This rare anomaly was a ghost from the minting presses, a coin the mint itself had forgotten. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. One man, sorting through decades of coins from his father's old jar, spotted something unusual. At first, he couldn't even describe it. His hands shook as he held it up to the light. The coin's surface, the subtle details in George Washington's profile, the absence of the mint mark, it was a quiet scream of rarity. Dealers were rushing to get their hands on it. Auctions quickly turned into bidding wars that no one anticipated. Ordinary collectors found themselves in a whirlwind of million-dollar offers, their jaws dropping as the bids soared higher than anyone could have imagined. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. You see, the 1967 no mint mark Washington quarter has a subtly different spacing on the obverse lettering. The Liberty and In God We Trust inscriptions appear slightly closer together. The edge of the coin is crisper, the relief sharper. It's almost imperceptible unless you know exactly what to look for. Even seasoned collectors sometimes pass it by, assuming it's just another common coin. But for those who recognize it, this coin is a direct ticket to a millionaire status. Imagine being at a coin show, holding a handful of 1967 quarters, and noticing one that seems different. A dealer leans in, eyes wide, whispering, "Do you know what you have?" And suddenly, your casual collection has transformed into a high-stakes treasure hunt. The excitement, the adrenaline, the disbelief. It's a feeling that every collector dreams of, and one that only a coin like this can deliver. One remarkable auction story tells of a single coin selling for nearly $1.3 million, a sum unimaginable for a coin that spent decades in circulation, jostled in pockets and cash registers. The buyer, a seasoned collector, described the moment he first held it as almost spiritual. "It's as if the coin called to me," he said. Dealers were shocked, auctions were floored, and the coin world had to acknowledge that even the most ordinary-looking coins could carry extraordinary value. These coins are incredibly rare, but not impossible to find. The U.S. Mint's records show only a handful could exist outside collections. Many have been lost, melted down, or simply overlooked in everyday circulation, which means that every jar of old coins, every forgotten pocket change pile, could hold a life-changing surprise. One man's drawer became another man's million-dollar discovery. Collectors and experts alike warn about common mistakes. Do not confuse circulation wear with minting anomalies. Look closely at the absence of the mint mark. Examine the spacing of the letters. Check the sharpness of the details on Washington's bust. These subtle differences are what transform an ordinary coin into a treasure worth millions of dollars. Many would-be millionaires have overlooked this coin simply because they didn't know where to focus. And then there's the emotional pull. Holding a 1967 no-mint mark quarter is like touching history itself. You can almost feel the quiet hum of the Philadelphia mint presses, the year 1967 rolling across the nation, the coin slipping quietly into circulation, unaware of its future. One man's pocket change, forgotten in a dresser drawer, became an emblem of possibility, a real-life testament that fortune often hides in plain sight. Imagine, right now, opening a dusty jar of coins in your own home. Your heart skips a beat when you notice one that seems slightly different. Could this be it? Could this be the 1967 no-mint mark Washington quarter that transforms your life? Dealers would pay millions for a chance to own it. The thought is almost too much to bear, but for those who recognize it, it's real. This coin isn't just a numismatic curiosity. It's a story, a mystery, a miracle. It's proof that hidden treasures still exist in the everyday world, quietly waiting for someone to notice. And once you know what to look for, the hunt itself becomes thrilling. Every detail matters. Every angle can reveal a secret, and every coin could be hiding a million-dollar story. First, check the mint mark, or rather, the absence of one. No D, no S, just a silent, unmarked Philadelphia strike. Examine the spacing between the inscriptions. Look at the edges and the relief of George Washington's profile. Compare it to a standard 1967 quarter. Subtle, almost invisible differences can signal the coin that holds unimaginable value. Avoid common errors. Worn coins can be deceptive, counterfeit replicas exist, and even experienced collectors have been fooled by coins that look similar but are worth mere dollars. One man's discovery sparked a wave of excitement across the nation. Auctions were flooded with collectors hoping to find their own million-dollar miracle. Dealers scoured coin jars, banks, and estate sales. And the best part? The coin can still be out there, hidden in plain sight. One small, ordinary piece of silver could be sitting in your drawer right now, waiting to reveal its secret. Every minute you spend searching, learning, and understanding the subtle details brings you closer to that moment. That heart-pounding instant when you realize you are holding history, rarity, and potentially millions of dollars in your hand. Collectors have described it as the closest thing to striking gold without ever leaving your home. So take the time to inspect, examine, and scrutinize every 1967 quarter you come across. Pay attention to the tiny details that most people overlook. The difference between an ordinary coin and a million-dollar treasure can be almost invisible, but for those who know, it is life-changing. Remember, this coin is more than silver in your pocket. It's history, rarity, and a story waiting to be told. It's the thrill of discovery, the joy of recognition, and the possibility of fortune. One man's pocket change became a million-dollar miracle, and the next one could be yours. Imagine holding a tiny piece of history in your hand, worth more than most people make in a lifetime. It sounds impossible, but that's exactly what happened with 1981 P. Washington quarter. The story begins in a small minting facility in Philadelphia, where ordinary coins were being pressed day after day. Nobody knew that among millions of quarters, a tiny, almost invisible error had occurred. A subtle flaw in the die created a version of the 1981 P that would one day stun the coin world. Dealers didn't notice it. Collectors passed it by. It remained hidden, waiting for the right eyes to find it. For decades, these quarters were pocket change. People jingled them in cash registers, slipped them into coin jars, even dropped them behind couch cushions. But this one, this rare 1981 P, had a secret. A minting anomaly so subtle, so easily overlooked, that only a trained eye could spot it. And the first person to truly recognize it? He didn't even realize what he held at first. It was a quiet afternoon when he pulled the quarter from a dusty old change jar. Something about it caught his eye. Not the shine, not the weight, something in the design. He studied it under a magnifying glass, heart racing. Then the realization hit. This coin wasn't ordinary. It was a variant. A collector's dream hiding in plain sight. It's all in the details. The P mint mark, nearly invisible on most quarters, carries a shift that changes everything. The rim, the spacing of the lettering, the tiniest die crack near George Washington's profile. These are the marks that turn an everyday quarter into a $1 million miracle. Most people will never notice. But if you know what to look for, you hold the keys to unimaginable value. Collectors were shocked when the news broke. Auction houses scrambled. Dealers lined up, eager to get their hands on even a glimpse of the coin. One auction alone pushed the price to an eye-popping figure, sending waves across the numismatic community. Stories circulated of casual coin enthusiasts discovering these quarters in jars, change bowls, and forgotten drawers, suddenly millionaires overnight. And yet, it's still possible to find one today. One man's pocket change became a legend. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. A coin that had been traded among collectors quietly for years suddenly disappeared from public view. Here's the secret most people miss. This coin is defined by subtle imperfections that make it unique. Look closely at the date. Examine the P mint mark. Inspect the edges. The tiniest variation in spacing or shape is what differentiates a regular 1981 P from one that can fetch a fortune. And don't be fooled by wear. Even circulated examples can carry enormous value if the anomalies are present. The rarity comes not from scarcity alone, but from discovery. These quarters were made by the millions, but almost none show the defining traits. That means your everyday change could hide a treasure the size of your pocket. Imagine the thrill of holding a coin worth more than $1 million, the heartbeat quickening as you realize you might have been carrying it for years without knowing. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on these coins, and for good reason. Auctions are exploding with competition. Collectors who once ignored loose quarters are now studying every detail, every line, every curve, desperate to identify the anomaly before it disappears again. It's a race, a suspenseful hunt, and the prize is real. It doesn't take decades of experience to spot this coin. You just need to know what to look for. Focus on the P mint mark placement. Examine Washington's profile, inspect the lettering along the rim, and check for subtle die cracks. Those tiny details, often dismissed as imperfections, are the hallmark of a coin that could transform a life. Even seasoned collectors are stunned by how easily these coins slip by unnoticed. One collector shared a story of finding 3 in a jar of pennies from a thrift store, unaware of their value until a quick search revealed the truth. The joy, the disbelief, the realization that something in your hand could be worth more than a house. It's why collectors live for these moments. The coin's backstory only adds to the mystique. A quiet minting error, almost lost to time, now celebrated worldwide. A symbol of fortune hidden in everyday life. The 1981 P. Washington quarter isn't just metal. It's the thrill of discovery, the promise of wealth, the heartbeat of every collector's dream. And if you've been paying attention, here's the final, crucial lesson. Examine your quarters closely. Look at every detail under magnification. Compare with certified examples. Avoid common mistakes like overlooking worn coins or assuming circulated quarters have no value. This coin hides in plain sight, waiting for the right eyes to recognize it. This exact quarter could be sitting in your drawer right now. A coin pressed decades ago, carrying a tiny secret, capable of turning ordinary pocket change into over $1 million. That's the magic, the mystery, the thrill. And it's waiting for you. Imagine holding something so ordinary in your hand, a coin you've walked past countless times, only to realize it could change your life forever. That's exactly what happened with one 1989 P. Washington quarter dollar. Collectors were shocked. Dealers were scrambling. And the story behind this coin is stranger than fiction. It all begins at the Philadelphia Mint in 1989, a facility that churned out millions of quarters for everyday use. But hidden among those ordinary coins were a select few with a secret flaw. A tiny anomaly, so subtle most people never noticed it. Only the most careful collectors, the ones who spend hours scrutinizing the smallest details, would ever spot it. And yet, it was this microscopic difference that would make some coins worth up to $1 million. You see, minting mistakes happen. The machinery slips, a die shifts, a metal planchet reacts differently under pressure. Most of the time, these errors are considered worthless, but occasionally, they create something extraordinary. Something rare enough that collectors are willing to pay life-changing sums to get their hands on it. And the 1989 P. Washington quarter has one of the most fascinating mistakes ever discovered. One man, an ordinary collector, stumbled onto his fortune almost by accident. He wasn't hunting for errors. He was casually sorting through his change when his eye caught a glint, a subtle imperfection he couldn't immediately explain. It was just a quarter. It had been in circulation like thousands of others. But something about the design, the tiny details in the lettering and the relief, screamed out, "Look closer." And when he did, the realization hit him like a thunderclap. He was holding a coin with a die clash, a rare minting error that almost never surfaces. Coins like this one don't just sell for hundreds of dollars. They command prices in the hundreds of thousands. And some, the absolute rarest, can reach over $1 million. Dealers who saw it were stunned. The coin world went into frenzy. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Word spread like wildfire. Collectors from across the country began searching their pocket change, their coin rolls, even old jars hidden in drawers, all hoping to uncover a similar 1989 P quarter. Auctions skyrocketed, prices surged, and the coin that had once been ignored suddenly became a symbol of untapped fortune. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. Look closely at the lettering on the obverse. See the area around Washington's hairline? Notice the faint doubling of the letters in Liberty? That's a telltale sign. Some coins also show doubling on the date, subtle but unmistakable once you know what to look for. Collectors call it a double die error, and only a fraction of the minted coins display it. That fraction is where the million-dollar potential lies. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle because he knew the signs. He carefully documented the coin, got it authenticated, and it sold at auction for an amount that would make anyone's jaw drop. The story made headlines. Fellow collectors were simultaneously envious and inspired. If only I had looked at my quarters more carefully, many said, realizing that fortune often hides in plain sight. But don't be fooled. Not every 1989 P quarter carries this kind of value. Many are ordinary, worth face value or a small premium for circulation. The difference is in the details. Check the mint mark, inspect the lettering, study the date. Look for unusual doubling, unexpected lines, or faint anomalies that hint at a die clash. These are the clues that separate a worthless quarter from a coin worth millions. Sometimes the coin you overlook in your change jar is more valuable than a roll you spent hours hunting at a bank. That's the irony of the 1989 P. Washington quarter. It's ordinary and extraordinary all at once. It could be hiding in your own drawer right now. You don't need a fortune to find it, just a careful eye and a bit of patience. Collectors are rushing to get their hands on authenticated examples. Dealers are scanning every collection they can find. And the coin community is buzzing with stories of discoveries made in the most unlikely places, under couch cushions, inside old wallets, even mixed into decades-old coin collections gathering dust. Each find tells a story, each coin has a past, and each could be worth millions if it bears the right minting error, but the stakes are high. Misidentification is common. Many people mistake ordinary wear or scratches for valuable die errors. That's why authentication by a reputable grading company is crucial. Professionals can confirm the double die and die clash features that make these coins extraordinary. One misstep, and what could be $1 million coin becomes just another quarter. And yet, the emotional impact of discovering a true 1989 P double die quarter cannot be overstated. It's not just the value, it's the story. The excitement of realizing you're holding something that survived decades, that slipped through minting processes that might have been overlooked by countless hands before yours. That's the thrill collectors live for. That's why they chase these coins across the country, attending shows, auctions, and private sales with hope and determination. This coin proves that fortune is sometimes hidden in the smallest details, waiting for the observant to notice it. Every ridge, every line, every subtle doubling could be the key. And once you recognize it, the possibilities are breathtaking. Just imagine holding a coin in your hand, realizing it could be worth over $1 million, knowing that such a small piece of metal has the power to change your life. So here's how to identify it yourself. Start with the 1989 P quarters you have. Examine the obverse closely. Look for doubling in the letters of Liberty and in the date. Compare against verified images from auction houses. Inspect for faint lines or anomalies along Washington's profile. If you see subtle doubling, have it authenticated immediately. That's the moment that separates a common collector's coin from a life-changing treasure. Collectors have found these coins in the most ordinary places, loose in jars, buried in drawers, forgotten in old collections. It doesn't matter where it comes from. What matters is the detail, the rarity, and the timing. Because when a coin like this appears, its story is just beginning, and the rewards can be staggering. This is more than a coin. It's a symbol of hidden opportunity. It's proof that million-dollar fortunes don't always start in banks or stock portfolios. Sometimes, they start with something as simple as checking your change. And the 1989 P. Washington quarter is living proof that luck favors the observant, the patient, and the curious. Every second, someone is discovering these coins. And the next one could be you. Take your time, study the details, and remember, the difference between a worthless quarter and a million-dollar coin is often invisible to the untrained eye. This exact coin could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. Don't just imagine it. Look, inspect, discover. Because in the world of coin collecting, fortunes are hiding in plain sight. But now it's valued at over $1 million. Imagine holding a simple 2014 P. Everglades quarter in your hand, unaware that it could change your life forever. One wrong turn, one careless toss into a pocket jar, and a chance at unimaginable wealth could have slipped through someone's fingers. But somehow, this coin survived, hidden in plain sight, waiting for the right eyes to recognize its staggering potential. It all started in a quiet minting facility where thousands of coins were struck daily. No one suspected anything unusual, no one marked it for fame. Yet a subtle, nearly invisible error occurred during production, something most collectors would never notice. It wasn't flashy or dramatic. It was the kind of tiny anomaly that only the sharpest eyes and the luckiest hands could detect. This is why dealers are racing to get their hands on it. 1 minute, it's an everyday quarter. The next, it becomes a ticket to $1 million revelation. Collectors were shocked when the first of these coins appeared in an auction. A man had pulled a handful of Everglades quarters from his change jar, casually slipping them onto the auction block. No fanfare, no hype. Then the bids started climbing. People couldn't believe it. How could a coin minted barely a decade ago suddenly be worth this much? The answer lies in that imperceptible minting error, a microscopic signature of rarity, combined with the ever-growing demand from serious coin collectors who recognize true value when they see it. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. As news spread, collectors began scouring pocket change, drawers, and old coin rolls. A frenzy erupted. Those who had ignored the Everglades quarter suddenly realized they might be sitting on a fortune. One man, a retired schoolteacher, discovered not one, but two of these rare coins in his pocket change. His life changed overnight. From his modest kitchen table, he went from living quietly to orchestrating a private auction that would make headlines. His pocket change miracle became a story whispered across every collector forum. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. The coin carries a rare double strike characteristic, a minting imperfection so subtle that the naked eye often overlooks it. Only under careful examination do the differences emerge, a slight doubling of the lettering, a minuscule displacement of the design elements, an almost ghostly echo of the original imprint. These are the hallmarks that separate a coin worth a few dollars from one that could bring $1 million payday. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on these coins. Every auction, every private sale becomes a battleground. They know the stakes. One wrong move, one overlooked detail, and they could miss the chance to claim a piece of history and a fortune. And collectors? They're driven by the same adrenaline, the same dream. The possibility that one ordinary Everglades quarter could be the key to unimaginable wealth. That it's not just the physical coin that makes this story remarkable. It's the human element. Imagine the thrill of discovering a coin that has quietly journeyed through countless pockets, survived decades of casual handling, and then lands in yours, a shining testament to fortune and timing. One man's casual curiosity, one moment of attention to detail, transformed an ordinary coin into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. Some collectors dismiss coins minted in the 2010s as too new to hold serious value. But the Everglades quarter proves them wrong. Its rarity isn't about age. It's about the anomaly, the story, and the connection to collectors who recognize true potential. Auctions have shown prices climbing exponentially. A coin once thought to be worth mere dollars now commands offers that most people would only dream of. It's a million-dollar dream come to life. Under couch cushions, in old wallets, forgotten piggy banks. A casual stroll through your own coin jar could reveal the very coin collectors are frantically hunting. One discovery, one careful glance under magnification, and the quiet routine of everyday life is forever changed. This is the reason expert graders are so crucial. They examine every line, every edge, every imperfection with painstaking attention. One glance at the wrong angle could mean missing the critical feature that defines the coin's rarity. The tiny double strike or subtle misalignment. The clue that could make your 2014 P. Everglades quarter worth over $1 million might be invisible without the right equipment. But identifying it isn't just about technology. It's about knowing what to look for. Focus on the lettering. Examine the Everglades design carefully and compare it to standard examples. Watch for any doubling, any irregular spacing, and slight distortions in the design that seem off. These small signs hold the key to unimaginable wealth. Misidentifying it could mean letting $1 million coin slip through your hands. Collectors who have successfully verified these coins often describe a sense of disbelief, as if the coin itself has whispered a secret they weren't meant to hear. And that's exactly how it feels, as though time has conspired to place a rare treasure directly in your hands. Every coin tells a story, but few coins carry the promise of transforming a life. That it's not just the financial value, though that alone is staggering. It's the story behind the coin, the thrill of discovery, the emotional journey from ordinary to extraordinary. This is why people become obsessed, why auctions skyrocket, why dealers guard their knowledge closely. The Everglades quarter isn't just metal. It's a dream, a secret, $1 million opportunity hiding in plain sight. Life changes instantly. One coin can fund a dream, create security for generations, or even become the centerpiece of a collection that defines a lifetime. The emotional impact is as profound as the financial reward. Every glance at the coin reminds you that fortune favors those who notice the details others overlook. Always use a magnifying lens, compare your coin to verified examples online, and check for that subtle double strike or alignment error. Avoid coins that look pristine but are standard strikes. They may look valuable, but they won't change your life. Only the rare anomalies hold the power to reach the $1 million mark. Even among experienced collectors, stories of missed opportunities abound. One man found a nearly identical coin in a coin roll and passed it over, thinking it was ordinary. Months later, that same coin appeared in a high-profile auction, selling for hundreds of thousands. Moments like these fuel the urgency, the excitement, the suspense that makes the Everglades quarter so legendary. This coin represents more than currency. It represents chance, timing, and discovery. It embodies the thrill of uncovering something hidden, the satisfaction of spotting what others overlook. And it proves that even in the digital age, with every market charted and every coin cataloged, true surprises still exist. Collectors who've held this coin speak of it in almost reverent terms, as if it carries the weight of destiny. There's a story in every scratch, every misalignment, every tiny imperfection. And in that story lies the potential to turn a simple collection into a life-changing treasure. So take a close look at your own coins. That forgotten Everglades quarter in your drawer, your pocket, or your coin jar might not be ordinary at all. It might carry a subtle anomaly that transforms it into $1 million miracle. Every detail counts, every inspection matters, and every coin holds the potential to surprise you. Many collectors never discover the full value of their coins simply because they overlook the small details. You have the opportunity to see what others miss, to recognize the story, to act before it's too late. This exact 2014 P. Everglades quarter could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. One coin, one chance, one moment, and your ordinary coin collection could become the treasure of a lifetime. Don't let it slip by. Imagine holding something in your hand that seemed ordinary, overlooked, even forgotten, and realizing it could change your life forever. That's exactly what happened with the 2001 D Kentucky Quarter, a coin so rare, so misunderstood, that collectors around the country are chasing it like treasure hunters on a secret map. The story begins quietly. In 2001, the United States Mint produced millions of quarters for circulation. Kentucky, part of the 50-state quarters program, was no exception. Everyone thought they were just regular quarters, meant to buy candy, coffee, or parking meters. No one imagined that hidden in these everyday coins was a secret so valuable it would shock the coin world. But then, something unusual began to surface. A small group of collectors noticed a strange anomaly, subtle differences in the minting, details on the ridge and the date that most people simply didn't see. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't obvious. You had to know exactly where to look. And that's exactly why most people walked past it, thinking it was just another coin in their pocket change. Collectors were stunned when the first 2001 D Kentucky with this rare feature surfaced at an auction. What should have been a $1 coin suddenly shot to tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands, until the staggering number of $1.4 million was whispered in disbelief. One man's pocket change had literally become a $1 million miracle, transforming an ordinary coin into a legendary piece of numismatic history. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Dealers scrambled, private collectors called their contacts, and suddenly, everyone wanted this coin. The frenzy wasn't just about money. It was about discovery, about holding a piece of history that almost no one else could find. Each coin carried its own story, its own subtle mark, a fingerprint of the mint's machinery that became its defining identity. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. On the obverse, the delicate features of George Washington are slightly sharper than usual. On the reverse, the Kentucky River scene shows a faint doubling in the engraving. These aren't mistakes in your eyes. They are keys to unlocking unimaginable value. Many collectors still overlook these subtle traits, tossing them into jars or piggy banks, unaware that a $1 million opportunity is right there, hiding in plain sight. Imagine the first collector who held one of these coins, realizing that what they had was extraordinary. It wasn't just about money. It was about holding a secret that the world didn't know. Their pulse quickened, hands trembled, and a quiet thrill set in. The thrill of being part of a rare discovery, a hidden story that only a handful of people would ever witness. Then came the shocking stories from auctions. A 2001 D Kentucky Quarter, spotted in a stack of coins at a garage sale, ended up selling for nearly $1.4 million after careful verification. Another collector discovered one tucked behind a photo frame, nearly throwing it out, only to realize its life-altering worth at the last moment. Every story amplified the legend. Every new discovery added fuel to a frenzy that shows no signs of slowing down. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on this coin. They call it a sleeping giant of the 50-state quarters series. One mistake in minting, nearly invisible to the naked eye, transformed a simple quarter into a $1 million treasure. And yet, despite the hype, the coin remains elusive. Many still have one in their drawers without even knowing it, a hidden fortune just waiting to be discovered. It's all in the details. First, look at the D mint mark. It must be crisp, clear, and perfectly aligned. Next, examine the Kentucky River scene. The faint doubling, almost ghost-like, is the hallmark of this rare minting error. Then, check the ridges along the edge. A slight irregularity there is another signal of its value. The experts call it a perfect storm of features, tiny, subtle, and extraordinary. Collectors often make mistakes, thinking that any Kentucky quarter from 2001 is valuable. But that's not true. Only the coins with these hidden anomalies carry the staggering price. One misstep, one coin overlooked, and a life-changing opportunity slips away. That's why attention to detail is critical. This coin isn't just a collectible. It's a test of perception, patience, and insight, and the stories don't stop. Private sales have quietly changed lives. Families finding these coins in old jars, realizing that they were sitting on a fortune without ever knowing it. Dealers discreetly purchasing them from unsuspecting sellers, who walked away thinking they were selling a trivial quarter. The ripple effect has created an underground market buzzing with anticipation, secrecy, and wonder. Collectors who own one describe the feeling as surreal. Holding a coin that could be worth $1 million, knowing that it was almost invisible to the general public, is like holding a whisper of destiny in your palm. And the thrill is addictive. Once you find one, you can't stop searching, scanning through rolls of quarters with a new sense of purpose and hope that it's not just a coin, it's a story, a symbol of possibility. It represents the idea that sometimes treasures hide in plain sight, waiting for the observant, the curious, the patient. It's a reminder that fortune favors those who look closely, who see what others overlook, who understand that a simple coin can carry unimaginable weight. Start with the D-Mint mark. Examine the reverse Kentucky River scene for faint doubling in the engraving. Check the ridges and edges for tiny inconsistencies. Compare it to verified examples online or at trusted coin dealers. And remember, even the smallest overlooked detail can mean the difference between a regular quarter and $1 million discovery. One man's casual glance at a pocketful of change led him to a life-changing auction. A simple habit, like sorting coins for laundry or spare change, turned into a revelation. This isn't just a story about money. It's about perspective, timing, and a little luck. And for those who understand it, the potential is enormous. This coin could be sitting in your drawer right now. It could be hidden in a jar of coins, tucked into a wallet, or nestled inside a forgotten collection. And if you find it, if you recognize the tiny details, you're not just discovering a coin. You're discovering a secret, $1 million secret that could rewrite your life in ways you never imagined. This exact 2001 D Kentucky quarter could be the turning point for someone like you. With its hidden minting errors, subtle anomalies, and the shock of its astonishing auction history, it's more than just a coin. It's proof that treasures are sometimes closer than we think. Take a careful look at your change, study the details, and remember, one small discovery can lead to unimaginable wealth. Imagine that. A single quarter sitting in your pocket, your drawer, maybe even in a jar of coins, holding a secret value that could change your life forever. The 1965 no-mint mark Washington quarter is one of the rarest, most overlooked coins in modern American history, and collectors are scrambling to find every single one. That what makes this coin so extraordinary is that it was almost invisible. In 1965, the United States was moving away from silver quarters. Most quarters that year were made with a copper-nickel blend, but some slipped through the cracks. These rare no-mint mark coins were essentially accidental treasures. Dealers were shocked when they first realized these coins existed. People were spending quarters for groceries, unaware they held the potential for millions of dollars. One man discovered his life-changing coin entirely by accident. He was sorting through a jar of pocket change, looking for a few dollars to buy a newspaper, when he noticed something odd. The quarter looked normal at first glance, but the absence of a mint mark made it immediately suspicious. Collectors call these coins hidden gems, and this particular 1965 Washington quarter has gone down in history for the astonishing sums it has fetched at auction. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. When the coin was submitted for grading, experts discovered it was in near-pristine condition, a coin that had survived decades without a single scratch, tucked away like a secret from history. It was almost as if fate itself had decided to protect this quarter. The auction ended in a frenzy. Bidders from around the country scrambled, and the final price? Over $1 million. One man's pocket change had become a $1 million miracle. Collectors were shocked not just by the value, but by the story. This was not a coin that someone could plan to own. It was a coin that found its owner, seemingly by magic, and in the blink of an eye, changed a life. Imagine the emotions in the room when the hammer fell: shouts, disbelief, tears, and the realization that sometimes fortune truly hides in plain sight. And yet, most people still overlook it. A single detail, almost invisible to the untrained eye, makes all the difference. That missing mint mark, sitting quietly on the coin's face, separates an ordinary quarter from a legendary million-dollar treasure. One tiny, silent detail is the key, and it's why dealers are rushing to get their hands on every coin they can find. You might be wondering how rare this coin really is. Experts estimate that only a handful survived in collectible condition. While thousands of quarters were minted in 1965, The no-mint mark variants that remained undamaged are extraordinarily scarce. Some collectors have searched for years without finding a single one. And that's why, when you do find it, the feeling is indescribable. You hold history, rarity, and potential wealth all in the palm of your hand. One particularly incredible story involves a retired school teacher from Ohio. She had a habit of collecting coins from her pocket change, never thinking much of it. One afternoon, she noticed something odd about a 1965 quarter. She sent it to a grading company, expecting nothing. Weeks later, she got a call. Her quarter had been graded at a level so high that collectors were lining up to make offers. In the end, the coin sold for more than $1 million. The news spread like wildfire. People were stunned. How could a simple quarter, overlooked for decades, hold such unimaginable value? This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. Every curve of the coin, every gleam of its metal, tells a story of survival. Coins from 1965 often show wear, circulation marks, and fading details. But the no-mint mark versions that command top prices are often uncirculated, their silver content preserved, their luster intact. That combination is what makes the difference between a few cents and a fortune in the millions. Imagine the thrill of holding one in your hand, feeling the weight of history, understanding that this coin has quietly traveled through countless pockets, overlooked, ignored, and yet always waiting for the right person to recognize its value. It's the ultimate treasure hunt, and the payoff is more than financial. It's emotional, historic, and deeply personal. Now, let's talk about how you can spot this coin yourself. First, look for the absence of the mint mark. Normally, Washington quarters carry a small letter indicating the mint. D for Denver, S for San Francisco, P for Philadelphia. The 1965 no-mint mark quarter is unusual because it defies this convention. That missing letter is the first clue that you may be holding a potential million-dollar coin. Next, examine the coin's surface. The highest value coins are in uncirculated condition, with sharp details and a brilliant shine. Look at George Washington's profile. The hair, the coat, the face. Any flattening, scratches, or wear reduces the coin's value significantly. Collectors have paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for coins with perfect surfaces, and the difference between ordinary and extraordinary can be a single tiny scratch. Weight and metal composition also matter. In 1965, quarters transitioned from 90% silver to a copper-nickel blend. While the vast majority of coins are copper-nickel, the rarer variants, including the no-mint mark, can sometimes exhibit subtle differences in tone and reflection. This is where an experienced eye, or a professional grader, can spot a true treasure among ordinary coins. Counterfeits and misidentified coins are common. Dealers advise checking multiple characteristics, including the coin's diameter, thickness, and design details. Even seasoned collectors have made mistakes, overlooking coins worth a fortune. But when you get it right, the payoff is beyond imagination. Picture yourself holding that coin. You realize that something you once considered spare change is now a million-dollar piece of history. One coin, quietly tucked away, capable of turning ordinary life into an extraordinary story. And the best part? It could be sitting in your drawer right now, waiting for you to discover it. This is the magic of the 1965 no-mint mark Washington quarter. Its rarity, history, and beauty converge to create a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Dealers are paying millions, collectors are obsessed, and the stories of these coins continue to inspire awe across the United States. Every jar of change, every forgotten pocket, and every coin collection holds the potential for this life-changing discovery. So when you sort through your quarters, remember this story. Look closely, check for that missing mint mark, examine the coin's condition, and imagine the unimaginable. This exact quarter could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. But today, one of these 2008 P Arizona quarters is worth over $1 million. That's right, a single coin that many would toss into the couch cushions could change a life forever. And collectors are scrambling across the country to find it. It all began quietly at the Philadelphia Mint. In 2008, the U.S. Mint released the Arizona State Quarter as part of the beloved 50 State Quarters series. Millions were struck, and most were spent without a second thought. But hidden among the common quarters was a rare anomaly. a subtle minting error that only the sharpest eyes would notice. One tiny imperfection turned this everyday coin into a $1 million miracle. Collectors were shocked when the first few examples surfaced in auction catalogs. The error is not obvious at first glance. It's a whisper of a detail, almost invisible unless you know exactly what to look for. And that's what makes it dangerous. Most people miss it completely. Point one man, a retired schoolteacher, discovered his life-changing quarter in his pocket change. He had no idea it was worth more than a house payment, more than some people earn in a year. It was just a coin he had carried around, a small reminder of a trip to Arizona in 2008. When he took it to a local coin dealer for a casual opinion, the dealer's reaction froze him in place. This is incredible, the dealer said. You may have $1 million coin in your hand. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Word of this Arizona quarter spread like wildfire. Suddenly, every coin show, every online auction, and every local coin shop became a hunting ground. Dealers were rushing to get their hands on any 2008 Arizona quarter, hoping to spot the rare error. Ordinary collectors found themselves in fierce bidding wars over coins they had once considered insignificant. The mystery of its minting is what fuels the excitement. Unlike a dramatic double die or a misstrike, this error is subtle. It is a tiny doubling on the lettering of Grand Canyon State and a slight shift in the topography of the canyon itself. You can almost miss it if you aren't looking closely, but this detail is the difference between a quarter worth 25 cents and one worth over $1 million. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that almost no one can identify correctly. Dealers and collectors alike study the coin under magnification, scrutinizing every ridge, every detail. The exhilaration when you finally see the error is like discovering buried treasure in your own home. Point one famous auction highlighted just how valuable this coin can be. A 2008 Arizona quarter, found in a jar of loose change, went to auction. The bidding started at a modest few $1,000s and ended at over $1 million. The auctioneer called it one of the most remarkable finds of the decade. People in the room couldn't believe their eyes. Some cried, others laughed. But everyone recognized the life-changing power of this coin, that it's not just the monetary value that makes it extraordinary. There's a story embedded in the metal, of accidental minting, of years of obscurity, of someone unknowingly carrying a fortune in their pocket. One man's pocket change became a $1 million miracle, and the ripple effects are still being felt today. Collectors are drawn not only to the rarity, but also to the thrill of discovery. The coin teaches patience, observation, and meticulous care. It's a symbol that even in ordinary things, extraordinary value can be hiding. These coins are out there, right now, in circulation. They're in piggy banks, in drawers, in pockets, just like yours. The chances of finding one may seem slim, but the reward is monumental. And the moment you recognize it, your life could change forever. Start with the mint mark. The P for Philadelphia is key. Next, look closely at the lettering on the back. The words Grand Canyon State should show a subtle doubling. Then, inspect the topography of the canyon itself. The ridges should appear slightly misaligned compared to a standard quarter. Many people think they've found the coin, only to realize it's just a normal Arizona quarter. Precision is everything. Be wary of common mistakes. Coins with dirt, discoloration, or where can hide the error. Only a clean, well-preserved coin will reveal the subtle minting mistake that makes this coin a $1 million treasure. Dealers use magnification and careful lighting to confirm authenticity, and even then, it can be tricky. But once you see it, you'll understand why collectors are going wild. Every moment with this coin is a heart-pounding discovery. You could be sifting through change, thinking it's just a regular quarter, and suddenly, there it is, the rare minting error, glinting in your hand. Your mind races. Could this really be the coin that's worth over $1 million? The thought is electrifying. The story of the 2008 Arizona quarter is also a story of hope. It's a reminder that treasures are often hiding in plain sight. People dream of striking gold, of discovering wealth in the most ordinary places, and sometimes that dream is literal. One coin, one discovery, one moment, and everything changes. It could happen to you. That jar of coins on your counter might hold the life-altering quarter. The anticipation, the disbelief, the eventual revelation, It's all part of the journey. And every step of the way, collectors are driven by curiosity, passion, and the hope of uncovering a true miracle. This coin has captivated the coin world, but it doesn't belong to any one collector. It belongs to whoever finds it. And the more you know about its characteristics, the closer you are to holding a fortune in your hand. So look closely at every 2008 P Arizona quarter you come across. Examine the mint mark, study the lettering, inspect the canyon. Compare it to known standards. Take your time. Most people walk right past $1 million coin without even knowing it. But if you pay attention, if you recognize the subtle clues, you could be the next person to hold an unimaginable treasure. This coin is more than metal and ink. It's the embodiment of chance, luck, and meticulous observation. It's a reminder that the world is full of hidden miracles, waiting for someone to see them. And here's the truth you need to remember. This exact Arizona quarter could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. It started in a small, dusty coin roll at a local bank. Nobody paid it any attention. To the casual eye, it was just another shiny South Dakota quarter from 2006, minted at the Philadelphia Mint. But collectors immediately knew something was off, something that would soon shock the coin world. Few people realized that the 2006 P South Dakota quarter is hiding a secret in plain sight. Hidden minting errors, so subtle that most people miss them completely, turn an ordinary coin into a potential $1 million treasure. And it all comes down to a tiny imperfection, an error on the die that only a trained eye can spot. Collectors were stunned when the first examples hit the market. Auction houses were flooded with frantic calls. Dealers rushed to inspect their coin rolls. One man, a retired teacher, found a single coin tucked in a jar on his shelf. He had no idea it was about to change his life forever. The secret lies in the details. Most people only glance at the coin, admire the buffalo, the outline of South Dakota, and toss it back into circulation. But this coin carries a doubled image on the date and mint mark, a detail so faint, most people never notice it. That doubling, that ghostly echo of the design, is what makes it priceless. Imagine holding a coin in your hand and realizing that, in the right light, it could be worth over $1 million. That's exactly what happened to one collector in Ohio. He had spent years searching through pocket change, never expecting that a simple quarter, meant for vending machines and parking meters, would make him a millionaire. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Word spread fast. Suddenly, dealers were combing through every bank, every collection, every jar of forgotten coins. Every 2006 P South Dakota quarter became a potential gold mine. One single mistake in the minting process had turned a common coin into a rare, coveted artifact. The story behind this coin is almost cinematic. The Philadelphia Mint had produced millions of quarters that year, but only a tiny fraction carried the error. Most of these coins were distributed to banks, pocket change, and cash registers across the country. Every day, collectors dreamt of finding one. Every day, someone's life changed because they did, and it's not just the doubling on the date and mint mark. Inspect the rim closely. Many of these coins show slight die cracks, small anomalies along the edge. Dealers say that combination, the doubling plus the subtle die cracks, can push the value from a few dollars to over $1 million. One coin sold at auction for more than $1 million, setting records for a modern quarter. One man's pocket change became a $1 million miracle. He had saved jars of coins from his teenage years. One lazy Sunday, he decided to sort through them. And there it was, a 2006 P South Dakota quarter that didn't look quite right. The doubling shimmered faintly under the light, a ghostly echo that should have gone unnoticed. He took it to a dealer, and that was the moment his life changed forever. Collectors were shocked. Auction houses were stunned. Dealers were now scrambling to educate themselves on the subtle marks, the tiny anomalies that turn an ordinary quarter into a modern treasure. And yet, most people still overlook them. Most people are still walking past a potential fortune in their own pocket change. The real thrill is in the hunt. When you know what to look for, when you spot that doubling and subtle die crack, it's like discovering a secret hidden in plain sight. And this isn't some outdated historical coin. This is a modern coin, produced in 2006, sitting quietly in jars, drawers, and coin rolls across America. One misstep, one glance in the wrong light, and collectors could completely miss it. But those who know, those who understand the story, can spot a potential million-dollar coin instantly. It's about patience, attention to detail, and a little bit of luck. First, check the mint mark. Look for the P of Philadelphia. Next, examine the date. Under magnification, you should see a subtle doubling, almost like a shadow behind the numbers. Then, inspect the rim and the edge. Tiny die cracks can appear, and when they do, the coin's value skyrockets. Beware the fakes. Some coins appear similar, but only the authentic minting errors carry that massive potential value. Compare with verified auction examples, and if you find the doubling, the die crack, and that faint shimmer under light, you may be holding a modern treasure. Collectors who spot these coins are not just buying change. They're buying the chance to change their lives. Every coin has a story, but the 2006 P South Dakota quarter is a story of hidden fortune, of opportunity disguised as pocket change, of a once-in-a-lifetime treasure waiting for the right eye to find it. And here's the most incredible part. You don't need to scour rare collections or travel to distant lands. This coin was circulated. It might be in your drawer. It might be in your pocket. One careful glance, one moment of recognition, could reveal a fortune you never imagined. Imagine that, a simple Washington quarter, spinning through someone's fingers, ignored for decades, suddenly turning into a life-changing fortune. That's exactly what happened with the 1997 D Washington quarter dollar, and the story behind it is nothing short of unbelievable. Collectors were stunned when they first discovered its secret. On the surface, it looks like any other quarter minted in Denver that year, yet there's a tiny, almost invisible anomaly hiding in plain sight. It's a minting error so subtle that even experienced eyes can miss it. But for those who spot it, it's a ticket to unimaginable wealth. This coin wasn't born famous. It came from the quiet, unassuming Denver Mint, rolling off the press along with millions of others. Most were destined for pockets, vending machines, and coin jars. But somehow, a small batch carried a flaw that would make them legendary. The exact nature of this flaw? A double die on the reverse, creating a ghostly echo of the lettering that shouldn't be there. Dealers noticed it immediately, whispering among themselves, because they knew exactly what this meant. A million-dollar coin could be hiding anywhere, but what happened next stunned the entire coin world. A retired schoolteacher in Ohio was sorting through a jar of quarters when he noticed something odd. He couldn't quite put his finger on it, but the lettering on one coin looked slightly distorted, almost like a shadow. Curious, he took it to a local coin dealer. That simple visit turned into an auction frenzy. Experts confirmed it. He had stumbled upon a 1997 D Washington quarter dollar with the rare double die error. Overnight, his pocket change had become a million-dollar miracle. Collectors everywhere were scrambling. Coins that had once been ordinary were now treasures. The price shot up almost instantly as word spread. Dealers were rushing to get their hands on any 1997 D quarters, hunting through rolls from banks, searching through family collections, even checking old coin jars in attics. The excitement was palpable, the stakes enormous. This tiny detail, the faint doubled letters, was now more valuable than anyone had imagined. And yet, most people will never see one. That's because this error is exceptionally rare. Only a few survived, slipping past inspectors and landing in the hands of unsuspecting Americans. Many were spent, tossed, or stashed away, their hidden potential unknown. Imagine walking past a coin on the street and not realizing it could hold over $1 million in value. That's the secret thrill of coin collecting. The possibility that one day, your casual find could change your life forever. But here's the part that truly blew collectors' minds. When the auction started, bids skyrocketed within minutes. People who had been chasing coins for decades watched in disbelief as a single 1997 D Washington quarter dollar smashed records. The coin sold for nearly $1 million, a number that seemed impossible for a coin minted less than 30 years ago. The buyer? Someone who knew the secret and had the courage to invest, turning a simple quarter into a fortune that would transform his life. This tiny coin carries more than value. It carries history. It's a testament to the randomness of chance, the magic hidden in everyday objects, and the thrill of discovery. Every collector dreams of a find like this, of a coin that turns ordinary change into something extraordinary. And for those who take the time to search, study, and learn, the possibilities are endless. First, look for the mint mark, the Denver D, located just above the date on the front of the quarter. Then examine the lettering on the reverse, particularly around the words United States of America and quarter dollar. You're looking for a double die, a subtle, ghostly repetition of the letters that makes them appear thicker or slightly offset. It's faint, yes, but unmistakable once you know what to look for. Common mistakes include confusing normal wear or scratches with the actual error. Only careful inspection, sometimes under magnification, will reveal the truth. Collectors who understand these nuances are the ones who find fortune. They check every roll, examine every coin, and learn the quirks of minting errors. And while the odds are slim, the rewards are staggering. This coin proves that patience, knowledge, and an eagle eye can turn the mundane into $1 million treasure. It's a reminder that every coin has a story, and every story has the potential to change a life. The 1997 D. Washington quarter dollar isn't just a coin. It's proof that luck and timing can collide to create miracles in the most ordinary places. From the Denver Mint presses to the pocket of a retired schoolteacher, this coin's journey is both mysterious and awe-inspiring. This exact coin could be sitting in your drawer right now, completely unnoticed, quietly holding a secret worth over $1 million. The chance to find it is real, and for those who dare to look, the payoff is nothing short of life-changing.